Darren here, and on today's episode of Watch the Academy, we are going to do a map guide on Malinovka. I am joined here with my assistants Joko 3000, Yezdi, and Aim for Ace, as they will be helping me uh, walk you through one of the oldest maps and one map that we all know and love. Air quotes there, as I'm sure many of us are hate it and are tired of seeing this map after 2 years. Um, Malinovka winter here. And yeah, this is going to be just a rough guide on how this map is supposed to be played from both sides and the various flanks that are open to you, with a little bit of sprinkling of some positions for certain tanks. Um, we'll have the first half be whatever side I spawn on first, and then we'll move on to the opposite side. So, yeah, I'll see you in game. Okay, so we're here on the southeastern spawn. Real quick, while we're doing a countdown, you will find already pretty much in this back corner right here. You'll occasionally see them over here as well. We're talking like the K6 to K0, and we might see them go from down the 0 line all the way up to G0, and that little L there is roughly where you will see them. We're going to start, and we're going to go actually up the hill. The hill, depending on what mode you get, is going to be strategically the most important flank that you pay attention to. Sure, someone in the comments is going to be, because it's the high ground, and make a Star Wars reference. I know someone's going to do it, so I'm just going to do it now. It's because, yes, you will have the high ground. It does provide an advantage to you of being able to shoot down on people, but if that's the only part of the map you control, it is risky because now you are kind of stuck into a small area of the map. But again, it's a little bit of a trade-off because people have to fight up to you, and you can easily be hauled down. Side issue, though, is there's not a lot of cover here. As you can see, whoever gets up to the hill the first obviously is going to be able to shoot down, and you have next to no cover getting up here. If you do manage to get up here, though, or if you manage to fight your way up here, of course, and push them back with your superior numbers or superior armor, or maybe you just have arty that is on point, then you can fight and gain control of the one singular most important piece of hardcover on this flank, and that is the windmill. And you all can be crowding around it like a bunch of children afraid of a snake or something. I don't have a good analogy for that. Once you do manage to actually secure a corner of the windmill, again, if you have that superior number or armor or even really good artillery support, it's a really good point to use to push off the enemy team. You will tend to see that this is like a two-staged battle here. I pretty much explained the top of the hill. There is that second tier right where Ace is. There tends to be a small fight right there. You do have this one little piece of hardcover as well down here, but again, anyone can easily just roll over here and shoot down on you, but they may not do that unless they know they can take care of you quickly or overwhelm you, because the moment that they expose themselves in any greater profile on that ridge, they open themselves to getting shot by anyone down there. But you will see people fight over this piece of hardcover and that piece of hardcover. And if you can take one or both, your chances of winning the hill is very, very good. Once you win the hill here, just take your time. You have the hill. There is no need to start bum rushing down the hill with no cover to try and chase after these guys. Again, take your time, because they can easily fall back to that church, hide in the trees over there, and shoot you while being unspotted. Take your time, and I have to stress that, take your time and shoot them as they are running away, or just hold your position and whittle down their health. Do be wary, though, that because, again, there's a lack of cover, arty tends to favor looking this direction. So once you do, you win, you push down, and, you're pushing them away. There's two ways you can do this. The heavy tank option is to straight come down this hill just because it's the path of least resistance and make your way straight to the church. If you're a medium tank or a light tank or anything that's a speedy boy, you could just kind of slide down the slope there sideways. Be careful, and I mean sideways, not, head first, and just push exactly like what I'm doing here and push up to this hill. If you're going to do that option, make sure that you don't have anyone hiding over here in this little ramp thing right behind Ace. Once you push up here as a medium light, you can use this hill, go hold down, and you can spot for your allies or heavy tanks or whatever else is behind you, the enemies hiding in the trees, and whatever is in that grand open spot. Honest to goodness here, don't go for the cap from this position because you are going to be pushing straight across the open again. Just hunker down here and whittle away the health until you take care of all the enemies on this side of their base. Once you do that, if the enemy team that's left alive is still over there on the riverbed, then you can push down onto this frozen lake swamp portion thing and fight your way this way. Make sure you do send people over to where Joko just was, right over there, because there already will be hiding in this general little corner right here. So make sure you go and you take care of them. Honest to goodness right here, at this point, your job is done. Unless, of course, you got to push tanks over. Hopefully by that point, though, depending on what's happened over on this flank, the enemy is already pushed over to those buildings over there, or they're stuck over here in a corner, and your teammates on the other flank are applying pressure to them. But yeah, that's pretty much how that flank works there. We're going to push to the middle. The middle is a little bit different. It is not a super important play where you need to have like 2/3 of your team go. It's more of like a early play for your light tanks, or it is like a mid to late game play for your mediums or heavy mediums. Again, mid to late game. So let's say we spawned over this direction here. If you are a light tank, there are two different things you can do. You can go up to that hill over there and just passively scout and spot whatever appears over on that hill there. Or, you could push up farther than that and go to that hill right there and passively scout whatever's going up the hill for your teammates. You can also do the very active scout role of pushing up here, trying to spot whatever's crossing this way. I don't really passively scout on this little section here, merely because there's not a whole lot of cover, and I tend to get spotted by whatever appears over here. I tend to pop up right where I just was, make a quick spot, and then use my light tank speed to make a quick loop and go back the way I came until I get spotted. We're going to do the the middle medium tank play here. That again, mid to late game. I would not do this early. I've seen people do this early and they just get shredded. Safest thing to do is a middle medium. You can come up here if your camo is good enough. As you can see, this is not good enough right now. I just got spotted by Yezdi. You can poke up there and shoot whatever gets spotted by your light tanks, and then duck back down behind it. Mid-play, though, you can push down this along the cliff. Going to do that right now. And if you're going to do this, you want to make sure that whatever pokes their head out is going to get shot by something. So, you can push up here. Push up. Be wary. Again, you want to make sure whatever's over here on this side, your left side, is dead. Because if you come up here and you start trying to shoot on that hill, you're just going to get eaten alive. So we're going to pretend that we've eliminated Joko or whatever's camping over there on this hill. If mid-late play, roll up here. If you're unspotted, shoot whatever's exposed, and then duck right back down. Because the moment people start taking shots from their rear from this position, and they're up there on that hill, they're going to look back down on you. So this is a very good mid to late game play. You can do this. There is one other play you can do if your team on the the western side of the map, if they have pushed through across the frozen river and onto this side of the enemy's flank, you can come around this way actually and take care of whatever's fleeing, run away, and you can come up behind, shoot whatever's here. As you can see, you don't have a whole lot of hold down cover, but most of the time, if you come here, you stand a better chance of not being looked at right away because they'll be focused on shooting your teammates that are probably exposing themselves over that way. It's a lot easier to shoot that way than to roll up over a ridge, exposing their entire tank to your teammates just to shoot you, if that makes sense. I don't have a diagram to explain that. And then, you can shoot them here. You can push up to this hill, and this is a much better position to shoot at your enemies, and, of course, right there. If you do take that flank, make sure that you don't have anyone like Joko that is on the enemy team that rolls down that ramp right over here and then comes around behind you. You want to make sure that they don't do that, and if you take this flank, pay attention to your mini-map, or at least have a platoon buddy or a buddy of some sort to watch your six. But yeah, that's the middle. That's pretty much the middle play right there. It's really only good for lights, fast heavies, or medium tanks, and it's only good mid to late play. You do it early, and when people are not in positions to shoot at anything yet, and everyone's still moving around, you're going to die. Last bit, we're going to move on to the western flank where Ace is. I will admit that this flank is a bit 50-50. This is like one of those flanks that is kind of like up in the air, and it really depends on how many people go there, your team's aggressiveness on that flank, as well as, of course, skill as individual players here. I have found that for those that come this direction here, most of the time I'm going to be like a nice good 33.33% of the time. What ends up happening when you go down this flank, and this is for both teams, by the way, they'll pick their poison of their hardcover corner, and then they'll just frickin' sit here the whole time, playing peekaboo and trading until one brave soul decides to say, screw this, I need to ignite a flame on my team, and then we'll try and push up to an aggressive corner, and they may be successful and push your team or the enemy's team off their corner, or they may just get completely slaughtered before they even make it to the corner, and that just reinforces your team or their team to not move. So that's one of the possible scenarios. The other possible scenario is that your team is very aggressive, and they come down here and they go full send towards the enemy's flank and try and take as much ground as they can before a significant amount of enemies approach their corner. So they may push up here, and they might just be completely fighting this section the whole time. That is the desirable outcome that you want. Push up here and then rout your enemy team and, just fight. Just fight, push them back. The issue here that tends to happen with this, and this is where this flank becomes almost reliant on the team that went hill, either doing their job and winning the hill, or being completely routed and then allowing the enemy team to go to your base. And that kind of forces you to have the decision of going back to defend your base or pushing and applying pressure to their base. But as you can see, there's a great risk to being aggressive and pushing the enemy base from this flank. It is wide open. Yezdi here, if Yezdi was spotting right over there where he is, right there by those buildings, Ace could be, Joko could be all the way over on that hill right there, and he could be shooting us right here, and we would not spot him. And I would just get farmed, tracked. You could try and hug the border and make a push for that frozen lake, but it's still just as risky because you don't know what's over here or what's down there. So it really kind of comes down to just both sides not actually trying to take the base, but trying to constrain and push the enemy into this corner here, and then, just whittling their health down, or like a boa constrictor, tightening their grip on the ground and just whittling their health down as you close the gap on them. But yeah, that pretty much sums up what you do from the southeastern spawn. We are now going to transition to this spawn, and I'll just say ahead of time, it's more or less the same, just different positions. So I'll see you on the other spawn. Alright, so here we are. We're on the northwestern spawn real quick. Artie tends to just kind of stick here in A123. That's pretty much about it. We're going to push up to the hill. Yeah, again, this is another one of those symmetrical maps that luckily the objectives are the same for both teams. So I can briefly cover these, but I can be a little bit more in particular positions for the opposite spawn. Like, for example, this church, you'll tend to see really big, heavy-hitting, slow TDs hiding by this church, and sometimes sneaky ones too. Especially like the paper ones that cannot go all the way up there. They'll hang by the church, and they will just kind of like shoot whatever gets spotted trying to go up from the opposite side. Again, same thing for their spawn. Objective is to get to this hill, take control of the windmill and that rock as soon as possible. So we're just going to do that. La-di-da-di-da. La-di-da-di-da. We're going to assume these guys are not here yet. And, we're going to push up. We're going to push up here. Trick for both sides, really, just while I'm doing this. If you're going to come up here and you're going to start fighting, do not be up here on this side of the road. Do not be on the right side, or on the, if you're coming up from where Yezd is, do not be on the left side of the road. Basically, stay off this side of the road. You want to be either on the road or you want to be on the windmill side of the road. Because that way you are not going to get shot by whatever's down here. So, we're up here. We beat the enemy team. We're going to fight. We're fighting. We got to be very careful because enemy TDs will be hiding by that rock over there. So we want to be very careful. Sometimes you'll even see heavy tanks that are not fast enough to make it up here hiding over there by that rock. Sometimes you'll see conquerors or anything that's really hull down being over there on this ridge that you can't really tell is a ridge because it's all snow. And, you want to just kind of whittle them down or spot them for your artillery to take care of and just kind of push down. There are two things that you can do pushing down. You can go this way and you can hug the border because there's this little this ditch. I forget the actual term. Defilade, that's it. There's this little defilade you can hug there so you can avoid getting shot. Or if you have to suddenly make a dive because some big gun rolled out and you were about to get blapped, you can dive just like I did and then push up to the rock here. Just be careful that whatever's over there is not ready to shoot you like where Joko is. Hopefully you still have some tanks over that direction that are able to shoot them. And then you can push for this rock here, fight, get rid of whatever's around this rock. And then once you take the rock, go this way. Just go this way. Just trust me, go this way. Don't follow Ace. Don't take Ace's route. Take this route. Because as you can see, I am in a defilade position. I am not going to get shot in my side easily by anything that's over there. For the most part, I am safe. I may not be safe by Artie, that may foolishly still be over here and decided not to move for whatever reason. but you are safe from just standard guns that actually have to shoot you line of sight. And then you can push up. This side, though, this base here is a little bit easier to actually cap out, simply because there is some hard cover you can get to, there is some defilade positions that you can get to, and there are some defilade positions you can defend this base from. So, yes. Once you get here, you can, again, you can post up in this frozen lake pond thing and take care of whatever's hiding back here. And this is one of these ones where you can actually safely push up on the riverbed flank. Because, again, there's hard cover here. There's a lot of hard cover here for you to use to move up. If you're here on this side against the border, it's a little bit harder. But if you are over here by these row of destroyed buildings, it's a little bit easier because you can leapfrog from building to building. So we're going to just pretend here that we've decided not to cap the base. We've pushed, we've killed the tanks, and we are currently leapfrogging from building to building. And whatever pokes their head out of these hills here, we are shooting. And we're just overwhelming. There's like 4 of us here, and we're just pushing through. We're full send. We're full send. And the enemy team has kind of pushed our team on the riverbed back, but they're still fighting on this corner. Boom, we finished it up. We're done. We win. You know, there you go. That's how you can take care of that flank. Now we're going to move to the middle. Middle, same thing. Same thing as the southeastern spawn, so we're going to move there. I may not be fast, but I am a Centurion, and that means that I am a Centurion. I don't know where I was going with that. So I had something and I lost it. So we're going to go over here. I'm almost in the position. Light tanks can make that same play. I'm not going to cover that a second time, but light tanks can make that same middle ground play early on if they feel like being an active scout. Or if you have really, really good camo, you potentially could do a passive scout there. I've done it. It's just never been commonly successful for me. I tend to get counter-spotted by a light tank with the same idea. So I tend to treat it more as an active scout position. So we spawned over here again. So now we decided to make a middle, play. Push up. This bush, for the most part, tends to work when you're not being probably proxy spotted or out-spotted by a light tank. But this bush tends to work. You can, if you have really, really good camo, you can sit here and shoot things that are spotted. This is a really good position for a Stritzvon to hide here as well and shoot and get spots. You can passively spot in a light tank from this position. As you can see there, I hid behind this bush. I spotted Joko, and I was not detected. And so, yeah. Or if I'm also a light tank, I can push up here to this bush. I found this ridge right here, particularly this position like this as a light tank, to work as a very brief passive scouting position. The moment you fire, though, you're done. You're not getting this position back easily. People will be ready for you. And you can kind of do the same as the opposite spawn here, but it feels a little bit more risky. So, yeah. Same thing with this frozen lake. Very mid to late game play. This is the type of play that you only want to do when your team is pushing the enemy off the hill, or is winning the hill. And that's, again, coming down this way against the cliff and going up this hill. So, and then from here, you can shoot whatever's hiding behind this rock easily. You can shoot the enemy team that, from here, and that's what I warned you about earlier. And then if you get spotted, you can just duck down. Now, attacking, going through the frozen lake from the northern spawn, You don't have a super great roundabout flank like you do for the other side, but you can roll up here and just kind of get like another angle on whatever is hiding back over here. So if you get spotted too many times on that flank, you can go unspotted and then come around on this flank here, and you can kind of just play these two little ramps here. But you are more open to getting counter shot by whatever may be hiding back over here. I have been counter shot by like iron rains, big beefy guns, whatever tends to be hiding back here, the sniper TDs that have fallen back. So yeah, it's a little bit more risky. But yeah, again, mid to late game play. And that pretty much kind of sums up in the middle there. We're going to, again, just briefly, very briefly, cover the frozen riverbed. And then there is a part that I missed in the previous segment, but it's kind of like I wouldn't even bother worrying about it. It's kind of one of these like weird positions that may not work and is like once in a blue moon type of situation where it may work. But again, you win this flank. Not win this flank. You're heading this flank early on. Here's what you want to do, because you may get played by like Joko over there, who's a light tank, for example, even though he's not making a mid-game play or an early middle rush spot. Hug as far as you can along your own border, or try and get to your border as soon as you can, so that way you are, trying to be at least out of the render range of whatever may be over there. Push down this way. Same thing. I tend to see teams just kind of post up here, and then there's like 7 tanks or something all in this stupid little pocket, and they just get absolutely whittled down to death or harassed. And then there's that poor guy who's like, I need to try and instill some form of motivation on my team, and he'll push up. Or he might just push up here because he can go hull down because he's like a UDES or something, and he just gets kind of just destroyed. Or he doesn't move from that position. You could, again, do that if you got the aggressive team, or, you got the speed, try and push up to this corner as quickly as possible. You can come up here and play this ramp if you can, if you got the gun depression and the turret armor for it. And then you can also fight this corner here. I have found that some super heavies can benefit from this flank, because at least you can position yourself and you can fight on these corners, and you don't have to worry about climbing a stupid hill with absolutely no cover and just getting artied to death. But sometimes those super heavies are absolutely needed to go up on the big hill there. But this is an alternative position you can go to if you're just trying to just face the enemies in front of you and get block damage or brawl or something. Yeah. Super heavies have really 2 options. Though the fast mevies, medium heavies, and stuff like that have really good turret armor and speed should try and push up to this hill. Now, this last bit I want to mention here, I've seen it once in a blue moon used effectively, but most of the time when I do see it, the person dies trying to get to it, or he gets to it, but everyone and their mother knows he's there and just pummels the position. Or it's used as a last stand. And I mean, like, it's used by a Stritzvon that no one has seen for the entire game, and he just comes up here and annoys everyone because he's in a really... That's a border, apparently. He's in a really strong position because, you gotta cross all this open terrain to get to him. So, yeah. This can be an effective last stand position if you are like a Stritzvon, or a really good scouting position if you can get here and be unspotted. Otherwise, though, this is completely stupid to come here, because you're going to probably die trying to get here if you're anything but a super fast light tank, or a Stritzvon that has fallen back while the rest of their team has died and wanted to use it as a last stand position. So, yeah, this point is a little bit unviable in only unless it's those two situations. But that does it for the guide here on Malinovka. Um, I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. I also want to thank my assistants here, Aim for Ace, Joko 3000, and Yezdi for being present here and assisting me in this map guide. And if you want to see more videos like this one, don't forget to subscribe. But until next time, this has been Darren of Watsy Academy.